Well, very good evening, my dear friends. This is the program for the LL.M private candidates, branch 4, paper 7, corporate and securities laws, refresher, a refresher course, and LL.M 4th semester, PG College of Law, Osmania, Univeristy. My dear friends, today in 3 episodes, I will take you to the Depositories Act 1996, that is Unit 2. I have already given 6 episodes on Unit 1. Syllabus has been completed. Unit 3 and 4 have been already completed. Unit 4 with regard to the FEMA. Unit 3, with regard to FEMA, and Unit 4 with regard to various multifarious legislations. Very elaborately we covered it. Now friends, in Unit 2, 2 subjects are left out. This is the last part. Today I will cover depositories, 3 episodes, and tomorrow the Competition Act, 3 more episodes. With this, friends, we are going to conclude our discussion. I told you these are all the guidelines. You had to download the enactment with latest amendments, and which part you had to see, which are the important topics for the examination point of view, as I elaborated told about SEBI and SECRA yesterday. In the same way, I will tell you as to what are the provisos which you have to concentrate upon. Then it is for you to work hard and then get appropriate topics downloaded in internet, because books are not available. Don't worry. Case law is not much needed over these particular subjects, you don't worry. But the bare acts you can download directly from the internet, and then in your Android phone you are able to see, you are able to get the material I gave downloaded. Same way you can also download the information, the particular enactments from the website. Even comparative study, foreign enactments also can be downloaded. Nowadays everything is very easy with regard to Google, so you can do that, friends. Then friends, what is the history of this particular Depositories Act? Actually, for listed companies, this particular legislation is relevant. In corporates, with regard to securities, there are 2 kinds, listed and unlisted. Then, private companies, question of listing will not arise. With regard to listed companies, where shares are there today, they have to be transacted only through the depository. This is the law. And the share certificates in physical form are dispensed with. They are kept in electronic media called fungible form. Fungible, fungible form. What do you mean by fungible form? In electronic system, the shares are maintained. What is the advantage of this, friends? Originally in 90s, this particular enactment was framed. I was also wondering, all of us having some shares, we had to now put this in fungible form. We had to take a depository and we had to then enroll. So, with a lawyer's eye, I was examining the subject. God has sent me an important case. And then with that, God has opened my eyes and told me that this is the significance importance of and convenience of Depositories Act. I will share the experience with you. One particular matter, a case of succession certificate has to be obtained from a civil court. And in that regard, the properties are running into crores, immobile properties, and then mobile properties. Immobile properties, the valuation part, we had to get the valuation certificate from the registrar's office. All the properties have to be listed out and then put forth before the court by paying, I think in those days it was 5% court fees on the value. So total value came around 3.5 crores or so. 5% on 3.5 crores court fees has to be paid for succession certificate. And then that was situation at that stage. The law changed subsequently, percentage changed, it's on different aspects. Then friends, this happened in late 90s and early 2000. By the time the Depositories Act came into picture. The certificate also required to contain details of mobile and immobile properties, wherein I found shares and debentures running into about, I think about a crore of rupees value. And then the valuation part has to be taken from the quotations of stock exchanges in Economic Times or Hindu or such standard newspapers. But the court said, you file all the share certificates physically and then keep Xerox with you. You can later on file an application and take them back. Now this has become a Herculean problem. Shares and debentures running into about a crore of rupees. How many share certificates? A lorry load. So, how is it possible? So I asked the petitioner, is it that the deceased shareholder has converted this into in electronic form under Depositories Act? First I said, physically for all these documents are required, now can you produce? He said, sir, most of the documents are missing. Then I said, no, you find out which are listed, which are unlisted. Then he found out about 75 lakhs up to are listed companies and the shares are in depositories. We have saved. Up to 25 lakhs, we have taken physical documents available, 75 lakhs available in depository. So I asked him, go to depository and get a certificate. Now the depository, State Bank of India, I think, now Stock Exchange also has got a depository. There are several public sector depositories out there. Now that has given a certificate saying he was holding about 50 lakhs worth shares, 25 lakhs worth debentures in so and so companies, so and so market price. One single piece of paper. For remaining 25 lakhs, I had to file about 10 kgs volume of share certificates. For 75 lakhs debentures and shares, one piece of paper by the depository. Then I understood what is the meaning of fungible form, Fungible. That's why I would like to rather share this practical experience as a lawyer, of depository with you. You are also lawyers, so you will appreciate. That was accepted by the court, and court has gone ahead with the hearing of the matter. And market value was accepted as on the day it was taken by the depository. So friends, the purpose of Depositories Act has got multifold. Then friends, this particular depository system was introduced in the Indian capital market during 90s. The Depositories Act was brought into force in the year 1996. Then the depositories are called intermediaries, and they play a very important role in the securities market. And prior to this legislation, the stock exchanges in India adopted the system of paper securities, holding the debentures securities shares in paper, and then they had to be registered, and then the transfer is evidenced by endorsement on the certificate itself. Deterioration, theft, mutilation, and other irregularities relating to the certificates entitled the issuer to refuse transfer, and several cases after the holder died, it remained as in his name without being transferred, and dividends were issued in the name of the deceased. This was the problem. Then issuing a duplicate certificate was a laborious process, and it resulted in high costs and delays in settlement of claims. So it has restricted the liquidity concept of corporate entity. So to overcome these problems, this particular Depositories Act 1996 was passed. What is a depository? Friends, a depository is a company where the securities of an investor are held in the electronic form, that is called fungible form, at the request of the investor through the medium of a depository participant. The depository functions like a central bank, and to make use of the services of the depository, the investor has to open an account with the depository through a depository participant. Depository participants are many, depositories are only two in this country. Friends, a depository to act as a depository must obtain a certificate of commencement of business from SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. In the SEBI functions, you have to state this is also one of the functions of SEBI with regard to monitoring the functioning of depositories, registration also. In India, there are two depositories which are functioning today. One is the NSDL, National Securities Depository Limited, and the other one is the Central Depository Services India Limited, CDSL. The depositories provide various services in accordance with the provisions of Depositories Act to the investors and other participants, such as clearing members, stock exchanges, investment institutions, banks, and other issuers of securities. This depository directly won't enroll you. It has got numbered registered participants, like SBI or any other depository would either register with the CDSL or NSDL. It could be public or private, public sector, private sector also. We have to register with any of these particular participants. Those participants either could be with CDSL or NSDL, and through the participants we have to now do the transactions on purchase and sale of securities. This is the simple concept, friends. Then the depositories, in fact, these NSDL and CDSL provide basic facilities like account opening, dematerialization. That is, from the physical form, it is in fungible form, that is dematerialization. Or you want to take it back, it is rematerialization from the electronic form, taking back into physical form. Then settlement of trades and advanced facilities like pledging, distribution of non-cash corporate actions, distribution of securities to allottees in public issues, and like ones. So friends, the securities are held by a depository in demat form. That is, securities are dematerialized and they are kept in fungible form. That's what I have been advocating to you. The ownership and transfer of securities takes place by means of, in this case, only electronic book entries, and by this the capital market risks of dangers involved in handling paper securities. This depository system resulted in several benefits like the elimination of damages of paper securities, immediate transfer and registration of securities, elimination of bad deliveries, faster disbursement of shares arising out of rights and bonus issues, right issue and bonus issue, easy transfer and transmission of shares, brokerage benefits, and saving of several procedural wrangles. Friends, the system procedure now, we have to see what is the procedure involved in this. The procedure is that the investor has to open an account with the depository through a participant, as I have already told you, like just opening a bank account. Then the depository is regulated by the SEBI. Further, the Depositories Act 96, the SEBI Depositories and Participants Regulations 1996, Bylaws and Business Rules of Depository, Companies Act 2013, Indian Stamp Act 1899, SEBI Act 1992, Securities Contracts Regulation Act 1956, Binami Transaction Prohibition Act 1998, Income Tax Act 1961, Bankers Books Evidence Act 1891, along with other rules and regulations framed thereon, govern the functioning of these depositories. The depositories are different from the providers of custodial services, as the depositories alone can legally transfer the beneficial ownership of securities. So about the depositories, the question comes, this is the material you can give. You can make out a notes and give. The investor, as I told you, has to open an account with the depository through a participant, who is just like a broker or agent. And a depository participant is called DP in short, provides the link between the depository and the investor. The DP maintains securities, account balances, and intimates the account holder the status of holding from time to time. Any financial institutions, banks, custodians, stockbrokers, and like organizations can become participants in a depository. In practice, the depository is like a bank and the DP is like a branch of that bank. I hope now you understand. Participant. The DP also must be registered with the SEBI under subsection 1A of section 12 of the SEBI Act 1992 and obtain a certificate of registration. So both the depository and the DP participant must register with the SEBI. So friends, this is the enactment with legislated by the Parliament with the objective to provide for regulation of depositories in securities and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. And this Act extends to whole of India. Of course, now there is no more restriction to Jammu and Kashmir. This Act has come into force on 20th September 95. As prior to this legislation, 3 ordinances were issued, even though by nomenclature the Act is 1996. Then friends, in part 2, I will speak about the basic structure of the legislation and then I will continue. Thank you.